Yes.
Okay.
We did what we had to do. There wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts. They told us to do it, we done it. And I think we did a pretty good job of it. So these veterans, my buddies, I'll go through hell with them. Especially my driver there. He takes me down to the D-Day Memorial. We have a good time down there. I can look around. I've seen quite a few of my buddies here today.
What rank in the military? What branch of the military? Well, I see that you're a paratrooper.
I was a paratrooper, glider trooper, and infantryman. I got 2 Bronze Stars for valor, 2 Purple Hearts, 5 Combat Stars, Presidential Citation, the French Croix de Guerre, the Belgian Croix de Guerre, the Dutch Holland Orange Lanyard. I got all of them. I didn't get my medals till 40 years after I came home from service. My outfit was completely... My rank, I was first lieutenant when I got out of the service, but I started out as a private right here in Roanoke.
United States
in
Army?
1939, Army National Guards.
Okay, so you're Army. You're an Army guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Kessler, talk to me a little bit about. You can sit up. You can sit up. You don't have. There you go. Talk to me a little bit about when you stormed that beach. What went through your mind on that day,
Sure.
on D-Day, 69 years ago? Can you remember the day?
59 years ago, I was sitting in Sicily. I was with the 1st Combat Paratroopers in the United States Army. I had to been to North Africa, Oran, North Africa, through the Straits of Gibraltar, and I went to Anzio. We chased Mussolini out of Italy. The guy down at the Times World, I worked with Bob Slaughter for 30 years.
So
He's the one that got the D-Day Memorial started.
Talk to me about D-Day. You were there, right?
I was sitting in Sicily.
Oh, when it happened. Okay.
See, I had been through combat 3 months before the guys went to France.
Wow. Okay. So how does it make you feel that people take the time to remember the day that will live in infamy?
Well, I think for so many years, nobody gave a damn. They didn't want to know about Pearl Harbor. They didn't want to know about World War II. They didn't want to know nothing. In the last few years, the kids in the high schools, and I go to high schools, elementary schools, aged groups, senior groups and things like that, and take a bunch of my stuff that I had was issued to me in World War II and show them the things that we went through with. How many men I lost? I lost quite a few men.
Why is D-Day so important to remember? What's the significance?
I think it's one of the most important days of our year. Look how many people we freed in the world today that have their own freedom that we don't even thought that they had. Martha Marie Bernard over there, good friend, a Frenchman, 5 years old when we went through his little town. And he won't forget it, and we won't forget it. So that's
why was it so important? What did that day represent to you and so many of your brothers?
It means that we did what we were told to do. We're given a job to do, and we done it. There wasn't no ifs, ands, and buts. That was it. And military life is a hard life, but it has its good and bad points in it. Everybody has a lot of fun in it. And I enjoyed my time in the service, 13 and a half years.
Why is it so important to remember days like D-Day, sir? Why do we need to remember days like D-Day? Why is it so important to our history?
I think it's very important. If you don't celebrate it and just let it stay dormant, nobody will ever know what happened. the veterans want to know, want to tell what they did. And I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of every one of my soldiers. And this young lady right behind me, she goes up at the veteran. She's a veteran herself. She's been through combat, and she's a very good friend of mine. She found out that I was going to be bestowed a medal upon, and she drove down here just for this purpose. And I would give my heart for her.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kessler. We really appreciate your time and your service, sir. And what's your rank?
When I was in the Army, I finally became a PFC.
Okay. Private first class. Okay. But you were at Normandy, right?
Yes.
Talk to me about that, just as quickly as you can. What went through your head that day, sir?
Well, when we had trained for the invasion for months, and I always worried about what was going on. One thing I thought it'd be when we were going in, it would be rough thinking about it. But the sea was so rough, we had to worry about vomiting, worry about getting wet, everything else. I didn't have time to get scared.
You didn't have time to get scared.
Yeah.
So how does it make you feel that you're a part of one of the biggest days in history?
No. Of course, we had no idea it would be like that. But looking back at it, of course, it was probably one of the highlights of my life. My going to the D-Day landing and proceeding through the time, and I went through Normandy on to St. Lo before I was wounded. And then,
well, we thank you so much for your service.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, later the Women's Army Corps, the Women Air Force Service Pilots, or WASP, the Women
Ms. Marie, talk to me about why. Well, first of all, what is your title? How did you get involved? You've been doing this for 29 years, right?
Yes, correct. I have no title. I'm just a native from France, a US citizen who was living in Normandy when they landed. And I have decided to do that 29 years ago because the Americans didn't do anything for the World War II. They started to do something after the 50 years anniversary. And then I was involved with more and more, and I moved to Roanoke because I was also involved with the D-Day Memorial.
So why is it so important for you? Like you said, you're a United States citizen, but you're a native of France.
Well, in France, they do a lot of things every year. I mean, since 1945, every year they do something. From Cherbourg to the bank of the Rhine River, every village, everyone are taking care of the remembrance of the World War II veterans.
Now, why is it so important for you to take that on by yourself, in your own small way?
Well, because that was my way to say thank you. I mean, I was 5 years old when they landed. I was in Normandy. I didn't know that I had a father because he was in the French resistance. And therefore, when they come, I discovered that I have a father. We got the freedom, and that's enough to say thank you to somebody, especially when they pay with their own life on the sacrifice that they did 69 years ago.
Why is it so important to remember?
It's important because if you don't remember history and what the people have done, you don't do anything. That's like I say at the presentation. That's the world they gave us. I'm not so sure they are happy with what we did with the world, but it's necessary not in order to don't redo the same mistake. History have a tendency to repeat themselves, but it's very important. And it's you're going to hear tonight a gentleman talking who lost his parents taken by the Gestapo, and he never saw the parents again. So, I mean, it was not a war for political gain. It was not a war to occupy France or Belgium or Netherlands or whoever. That was a war to get the freedom and give the freedom to people and not living under a dictatorship.
And this is the last year, though, right?
No, next year.
Oh,
30 years on 70 years.
So 30 years.
And 70 years anniversary.
You just said, I'm done. That's it. We've done it.
Well, when I say I'm done with all the public. But I will be still doing a lunch with the veterans.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you.
That's great.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic.
Please streaming and the rockets rambling.
In 1944, serving as an Army flight nurse with the 818. Her nursing training began in New Jersey at Base Hospital.
Oh, yeah, it is. Now don't be doing me.
I mean, that's a very